The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, I'm Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a new engine from Evinrude that's part of a completely new series targeting a specific type of boater. This is the Evinrude E-TEC 90 Pontoon Series engine, and its sole purpose is to make the boating experience more enjoyable for the pontoon owner. Let's take a look.
Now there are 4 items that make up the highlights of the Pontoon Series engines. 2 of them we can easily see: the motor mounts and the external oil tank. Let's take a look. Now here's the motor mount. It's designed from softer rubber, but its design also allows it to increase its strength as power is added. Now Evinrude tells us that this motor mount reduces vibration up to 69% at cruise and up to 42% at idle speed, and that's very important to the pontoon lifestyle. This external oil tank allows you to fill the oil remotely, and the engine will draw from this oil tank to the internal tank on the engine. Why is an external oil tank important on a pontoon boat? Because a lot of pontoon boats are set up so that you can't even get to the engine shroud. So that means you're not going to be able to get to the engine oil. This way, you don't have to worry about the engine oil as much because you've extended your range, and I love the fact that you never have to change the oil. 2 components that you can't see will be the software mapping, which gives you ideal running characteristics for pontoon boats.
This also accounts for a cleaner running engine. No one wants smoke and fumes during their ride, and pontoon owners are even more critical of this. The E-TEC 90 PS meets stringent CARB 3 and European Union emission standards without needing any calibration, and it has the lowest emissions of any outboard on the market.
The second item is the gear ratio. We go from 2:1 to 2.36 to 1. Now that's going to give you better hole shots, better performance, better stopping power, and allow you to use a wider range of propellers. Now let's take a look at some of the features that are common not only to the Pontoon series, but all E-TECs. And they all take place underneath the shroud.
We'll start with items that clearly spell ease of maintenance for the owner.
Right here is the EMM, the Engine Management Module. This controls everything that has to do with the operation of the engine. The firing, the oil distribution, the fuel injection. It also controls how the engine gets winterized and the break-in. Now those last 2 points are very important from an ease of maintenance standpoint. I live in the Northeast where engines get winterized in the off-season. When there's a warm day coming up and you want to get back on the water, it's no longer a problem. Go ahead and run the engine up, and when you get back out of the water, just a simple combination of key and throttle strokes will fog the engine and it's winterized again automatically. The other feature is the break-in period. For all intents and purposes, there is no break-in period. The engine automatically doubles the oil during what would be the break-in period, and you can run it normally. Once that period is through, the oil drops back to normal levels and you never even notice the difference. Here's a plug for connecting your iCommand gauges to, and it's NEMA 2000 compliant. Look at the thermostat cover, easily changed with a socket wrench. And of course, here's the internal oil tank that I mentioned earlier, which is connected to the external tank in the boat. The oil distribution system, again, delivers precise amounts of oil exactly where it needs to be, controlled by the EMM.
Now let's talk about anti-corrosion. These bolts are stainless steel, where elsewhere in the industry we see nickel-plated steel. And I can validate this by seeing that this magnet is not attracted to them. What's more, all the aluminum is a low copper alloy. This means that this entire engine needs only 3 sacrificial zincs. One here, another here, and a third behind the propeller, all easily replaced by the end user.
Freshwater Flush couldn't be easier. Simply connect a garden hose to this fitting right here. Run the water and there's your flush out. You don't even have to run the engine if you don't want to. The E-TEC injectors are a big thing. Injectors used to be pump activated. These work more like the speaker on your stereo. They vibrate to inject fuel directly into the cylinders. The amount of that fuel is controlled by, guess what? The EMM. Now let's talk about alternators. They're belt-driven, belts break, that's an increase in maintenance. Here we do things a little bit differently. Evinrude uses a flywheel-driven magneto that puts out 81 amps, 25 dedicated to the electronics at the panel.
Look at this throttle linkage. With this one, there's no adjustment because it never goes out of adjustment.
Now let's see if this Evinrude E-TEC 90 Pontoon Series actually meets the needs of the pontoon boater as we put it through a performance evaluation on the water.
We tested this new engine on a 22-foot 3-inch pontoon boat with an empty weight of 1,921 pounds. With full fuel 2 people in the 320-pound 90 Pontoon Series engine, we had an estimated test weight of 2,787 pounds. We reached our top speed of 22.3 miles per hour at 5,800 RPM. At that speed, we were burning just 7.3 gallons per hour, which gave us a range of 58 miles with this boat's 21-gallon tank. Best cruise came in at 4,000 RPM and 13.3 miles per hour. That speed reduced the fuel burn to a mere 3.6 gallons per hour, giving us an endurance of 5 hours and 18 minutes and a range of 71 miles while still holding back a 10% reserve. Acceleration was quick, and while there's no real time to plane on a pontoon boat, we did accelerate through 20 miles per hour in only 7.2 seconds.
It was interesting testing the 90 Pontoon series engine. I've tested a lot of pontoon boats and I'm always aware of the engine because the pontoon boat hull simply just resonates it throughout the boat. But I was more aware of this engine due to its smoothness. Now the Pontoon series also has a capacity for improved thrust, and I did notice that. I had good hole shots, acceleration was crisp, and also when backing down I got good thrust in reverse as well. Well, I have to say I definitely noticed a difference with this Evinrude E-TEC 90 Pontoon series, and that's going to make it an attractive engine for any pontoon boater. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.